Vivian's palm hit Maya Richardson's shoulder. Not a touch, a shove, sending her stumbling backward into a marble column. The crack echoed through the Metropolitan Museum. "Watch where you're going," Vivian hissed, her free hand cradling her pregnant stomach. "Oh, wait. You can't watch anything, can you? Too busy being the barren ex-wife haunting my husband's events." 200 people froze. Maya's champagne glass shattered on the floor. Blood bloomed on her palm. Richard Hampton appeared beside his new wife, wrapped his arm around her swollen belly, smiled at his ex. "Careful, Maya. Wouldn't want you to hurt yourself." Again. Then he laughed. Maya stood frozen, champagne and blood dripping onto ancient Egyptian stone. The Temple of Dendur had never been this quiet. Tech billionaires, Vogue editors, Pentagon generals, all staring. "Darling," Richard Hampton's voice was silk. "You're making a scene." "I dropped a glass." Maya's voice came out steady, flat. "Of course you did." Vivian glided forward. White feathers and diamonds worth millions. All bought with money that should have been Maya's. Her hand, perfectly manicured, drifted to her stomach. That barely there bump that had been on page 6 for 3 weeks. The room inhaled. "Must be so hard," Vivian said, voice pitched for the crowd. "Being here, seeing Richard finally happy, seeing what he has now." Her palm pressed against the swell. Maya's eyes locked on that hand. That bump. Those headlines. "Hampton heir on the way. Billionaire's new wife gives him everything his first couldn't." "Congratulations." The word tasted like broken glass. "You heard?" Vivian smiled, sharp, cruel. "The whole world heard. Finally, Richard gets to be a father. Finally gets what he deserves. A legacy. An heir. Something to pass down." Amanda Chen from Vanity Fair appeared at the edge of the conversation, phone out, recording. "Some women are just built for this," Vivian continued, louder now. "Built to create life. Built to give men what they need. Built to be complete." She paused, looked Maya up and down. "And some women just aren't." Maya's chest tightened. 15 years. 15 goddamn years of this. "Vivian." Richard's voice held a warning, but he was smiling, eyes glittering. "What?" Vivian spun to him, hands still on her stomach. "I'm saying what everyone thinks. Maya had 12 years. What'd she give you?" "Nothing. Empty promises, empty nurseries, an empty legacy." "That's enough," Maya said. "Is it?" Vivian turned back. "Is it enough, Maya? You spent a decade disappointing this man, making him feel less, making him wonder what was wrong with him when the problem was always you." Each word a precision strike, designed to wound. Whispers started around them like disturbed wasps. "You couldn't create anything," Vivian said, warming up now. "Not a child, not a family, not a legacy. Some women are creators, Maya, and some are just empty vessels. Barren ground where nothing grows." Barren. The word echoed off marble walls. Maya's hands clenched. Broken crystal bit into her palm. She didn't feel it. She was staring at Richard, her ex-husband. The man she'd loved, the man whose secret she'd carried for 15 years. "Richard." Maya's voice cut through Vivian's monologue. "Tell her." Richard's smile flickered. "Tell her what?" "The truth." "The truth?" He laughed, dismissive, cold. "The truth standing right here. Vivian's pregnant. You never were. That's the only truth that matters." "Is it?" Maya stepped forward. Blood drops hit the floor. "Is that really what you want to say? Right now? In front of 200 witnesses? In front of Amanda Chen's camera? Richard's eyes narrowed. Something flickered. Uncertainty? Fear? Gone. What I want to say, Richard pulled Vivian closer, is that I'm grateful. Grateful I finally found a real woman, a complete woman. He looked straight at Maya. Unlike you. You were always incomplete, always broken, always defective. Defective. The word hit like a bomb. A white billionaire, in front of New York's elite, calling his black ex-wife defective. The crowd stirred, uncomfortable, but no one spoke. And Richard Hampton laughed. Started as a chuckle, grew, echoed off ancient stones, bounced around glass walls until it came from everywhere. Be kind, darling. Still laughing. It's not her fault she's defective. Some people are born that way. Some women just can't create anything worth keeping. Vivian laughed too. High, bright, cruel. The crowd, God, the crowd, they laughed. Nervous titters, uncomfortable chuckles. The kind that happens when the king makes a joke and everyone knows they're supposed to find it funny. Maya Richardson stood there, covered in champagne and blood, surrounded by 200 people, listening to her ex-husband laugh at her pain. Something inside her snapped. Not broke, snapped, like a spring released, like a dam giving way. The hurt crystallized, transformed, became diamond hard. Maya lifted her head, smiled. Terrible, cold, precise. You will regret that laugh, Richard, she said. Clear, carrying. Both of you will regret this moment for the rest of your lives. Richard's laughter died. You threatening me? No, I'm making a promise. She turned, walked through the crowd. It parted like water. Behind her, Vivian's voice. What's she gonna do? Write a strongly worded email? More laughter. Easier now. Maya didn't look back. Past Amanda Chen, still recording, eyes wide. Past General Patricia Morrison, frowning. Past Marcus Chen, her attorney. Their eyes met. He gave the smallest nod. It had begun. Maya made it to the entrance before her composure cracked. Just enough to let 15 years of pain leak through. James, her driver, was waiting. Home, Dr. Richardson? Yes. The city lights blurred past. Maya stared at nothing. Felt nothing. No, that was wrong. She felt clarity. The penthouse was dark. 14,000 square feet of silence. Barren, they called it. Maya walked straight to her office, poured scotch, sat, then let the mask fall. Tears came fast, hot. Not sadness, rage, liberation. Barren. A lie. A thick, suffocating lie she'd worn to protect him. 12 years ago. Doctor. Sarah Morrison's office. The test results. Mrs. Hampton, your fertility is excellent. Maya could still hear it. Mr. Hampton, severe oligospermia, progressing to azospermia. 0 sperm count. Congenital. You cannot father children. You never could. The clock ticking. Richard's hand crushing hers. Her relief. God, the relief. Because it wasn't her. Never her. But Richard had shattered. This can't get out. In the car, voice shaking. My father. The board. They see me as alpha, a Hampton who can't produce an heir. I'm a joke. The company tanks. Then those desperate eyes. Please, Maya, let them think it's you. Just for now. We'll adopt quietly. No one needs to know. Maya drained her scotch. She'd said yes, taken the blame, let his family pity her, Let society whisper. Because she loved him. 5 years later, he divorced her anyway. Richard Hampton, forced to leave his defective wife. He'd been generous. $50 million. The Hamptons estate. This penthouse. But that wasn't the real settlement. Maya walked to the wall safe, input the code, pulled out documents, the patents, her invention, her doctoral thesis, Richardson composite material, the technology that made Hampton Aerospace possible. Richard convinced her to license it for $1 per year. We're a team. What's mine is yours. But the license had strings, 47 pages. Section 12, subsection C, stared back at her. Any public disclosure, disparagement, or misrepresentation by the licensee regarding the licensor's medical history, fertility status, or personal capacity shall constitute immediate and irreversible breach of this agreement, rendering all associated patents and licensing rights null and void. Richard just called her defective, in front of 200 witnesses, on camera. He'd breached the contract, freed her. Maya picked up her phone, dialed Marcus. I saw. Then you know what I want. Maya, this is war. He'll fight. His family has money, connections. So do I, and I have something Richard doesn't. What? The truth, and the legal right to use it. Pause. What are your terms? I don't want money, Marcus. I want my company back. Longer pause. Maya, Hampton Aerospace is $95 billion. I know. I built it. A hostile takeover of that magnitude is exactly what this calls for. Richard built his empire on my foundation. He forgot who laid the first brick. I'm going to remind him. She heard him moving. Walk me through it. The license is void as of tonight. Every product Hampton Aerospace manufactures, every aircraft component, every military contract, is using my IP without permission. Patent infringement. Massive scale. Exactly. File a cease and desist at 8 a.m. Every factory, every facility, shut them down. Jesus, that'll crater the stock. Good. The board will panic. Better. Richard will do what he always does. Lie, bluster, try to buy his way out. And when that fails, he'll realize he's lost everything. And you? Maya looked at blueprints on her walls. Richardson Composite 2.0. 5 years of secret development. 60% stronger. 40% lighter. 100% hers. Obsolete everything Richard was using. I'm taking back what was always mine. Not just patents. Not just money. The whole company, Marcus. Strip it to the foundation. Rebuild it right. My God, you're not suing him. You're destroying him. No, I'm freeing myself. If Richard gets destroyed... She paused, remembered his laughter echoing. That's because he destroyed himself when he forgot who I was. Silence. When do we move? Now, tonight. Cease and desist ready by 8 a.m. Forensic accountants ready to audit every penny Hampton Aerospace made using my technology. Hostile takeover proposal by end of business tomorrow. This gets ugly. It's been ugly for 15 years. I'm done pretending. All right, I'll call the team. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Maya hung up, walked to the window. Central Park stretched below, dark except for scattered lights. Richard thought he owned this city. He was about to learn empires built on lies don't stand. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Saw what happened. I'm sorry. Sarah Morrison, the fertility doctor, knew the truth all along. Maya didn't respond. Another text. Amanda Chen, Can we talk? Bigger story here. Maya smiled. Oh, there was. She typed, "Not yet. Soon." Opened her laptop. Hampton Aerospace Financials. Stock, $187 per share. Market cap, $95.3 billion. Manufacturing on 3 continents. Military contracts worth $23 billion. All built on her technology. All about to crash. Second file. Richardson Advanced Materials, LLC. Her company. Registered 5 years ago. Stealth mode. No public presence. Just quiet research. Richardson Composite 2.0 was ready. Patents filed. Pentagon interested. She'd been preparing for 5 years. Deep down, she'd always known Richard would betray her. She just hadn't expected it to be so public, so cruel, so perfectly timed to give her legal justification to take everything. Third file. Hampton Aerospace Board of Directors. 12 members. She knew them. Had met them at parties back when she was Mrs. Hampton, the quiet wife in the background. They thought she was weak. Tomorrow, they'd learn otherwise. Phone rang. Marcus again. Problem. Maya's stomach tightened. What kind? SEC contact just called. Richard filed paperwork 3 hours ago, before the gala started. What paperwork? Transferring his controlling interest to a holding company. Vivian Laurent Hampton's a shareholder. Maya's mind raced. He's protecting assets. Knows I might come after him. Worse, if he transfers shares before we freeze them, you lose leverage. Board won't panic as much. Can he do that? If SEC approves, yes. And it's Richard Hampton. SEC always approves. Approval deadline? 48 hours. Friday afternoon. Then we move faster. Expedite the cease and desist. I can try. Don't try. Do it. Hampton Aerospace stock in free fall by market open. Board panicking by noon. Desperate enough to listen by end of business. To Richard's ex-wife? To the woman who owns the patents their company's built on, who has the solution to save them from bankruptcy. Typing sounds. You're offering Richardson Composite 2.0. In exchange for control, I save their company, they give me the keys. Richard fights this with everything. Let him. I've been fighting quietly for 15 years. I'm done being quiet. They worked through the night. Maya at her laptop. Financial documents. Patent filings. Every contract she'd ever signed. Marcus and his team at the firm. Drafting. Preparing. Building an airtight case. 3 a.m. Coffee. Window. City lights. Somewhere, Richard was sleeping soundly. Arm around Vivian, dreaming about his son, his legacy, his empire. No idea that in 5 hours, it starts crumbling. 4 a.m. Email from Dr. James Wilson, former Hampton Aerospace CTO. Subject. I heard. I want to help. Maya opened it. Doctor. Richardson, I've stayed silent too long about toxic culture at Hampton Aerospace. IP theft. The way Richard takes credit for others' work. If you're planning what I think, I have documents. Emails. Proof you invented the core technology and he lied. Ready to testify. James. Maya typed back. Chen, Morrison and Associates, 9 a.m. Bring everything. Another ally, another weapon. 5 a.m. First draft ready. Marcus sent it over. Beautiful, brutal, precise. To Hampton Aerospace Industries. Your license to use U.S. patents number 102-34567, number 102-34568, number 102-34567, 34569, Richardson Composite Material Patents, is terminated, effective immediately, due to breach of contract. Section 12, subsection C. All manufacturing, sales, distribution using said patents must cease within 24 hours or face federal prosecution. Signed, Dr. Maya Richardson, Richardson Advanced Materials, LLC. Maya read it 3 times. Typed, file at 8 a.m. sharp. 6 a.m. Shower. White power suit. Armani. Tailored perfect. The color of surrender flags and fresh starts. 7 a.m. Phone rang. Unknown number. Maya almost didn't answer. Hello? Maya. Female. Familiar. Frightened. It's Vivian. Maya's hand tightened. How'd you get this number? Doesn't matter. I need to talk. About last night. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. You meant every word. Planned it. Wanted to humiliate me. No, Richard wanted... It's complicated. Things you don't understand. About Richard. About me. About this baby. I understand perfectly. You're a gold digger who married a billionaire, got pregnant, whether it's his or not, and think you've won. But here's what you don't understand. You've won nothing. You've signed up to carry a lie forever. Silence. How did you know? Vivian whispered. Know what? That the baby isn't... That Richard can't... She knew. Vivian knew Richard was sterile. Who's the father? Business partner? Personal trainer? His brother Carter? Sharp breath. Oh my God, Maya breathed. Carter, you're sleeping with Richard's brother. You can't tell anyone. Please, Richard will kill me. Carter will deny it. I'll lose everything. You'll lose everything? You stood there and called me barren. Called me incomplete. Mocked me when you knew he couldn't have children. And now you want mercy? Maya, please, I made a mistake. Maya hung up, hands shaking. Savage satisfaction. Vivian knew the baby was a lie, and she'd still mocked Maya for being defective. This wasn't just about Richard anymore. 7:45 a.m. Chen, Morrison and Associates. Entire firm already there. Coffee and righteous anger. Ready? Marcus held up the filing. Deep breath. Once filed, no going back. No reconciliation. War. Do it. 8 a.m. exactly. Marcus hit send. Document hit SEC NYSE. Hampton Aerospace Industries. Every major news outlet simultaneously, and Richard Hampton's empire began to fall. Maya stood at the window, watched the sunrise over Manhattan. Somewhere in a penthouse across town, Richard's phone was starting to vibrate. His COO calling. His CFO. His board members. Somewhere, Vivian was waking up to realize the woman she'd mocked had just launched a nuclear strike. Somewhere, Carter was getting texts, panicking about his conspiracy falling apart. And Maya? Maya felt nothing but cold, crystalline certainty. She'd been called barren for 15 years. But barren ground isn't empty ground. It's just ground waiting for the right person to plant the right seeds. Richard Hampton had laughed at her in front of 200 people. He'd called her defective. He'd humiliated her one time too many. And now he was going to learn what happens when you underestimate the woman who built your empire. When you forget she's not just a quiet ex-wife. She's Dr. Maya Richardson, MIT PhD, aerospace engineer, inventor of the technology that made him billions, and she's taking it all back. Every single piece. Marcus appeared at her shoulder. First reports coming in. Stocks already down 8% in pre-market trading. Good. News outlets picking it up. Hampton Aerospace hit with massive patent dispute. Billionaire's ex-wife revokes technology license. It's spreading fast.
Faster. Maya, Marcus turned to her. Once this really hits, once the market opens, there's no stopping it, no walking it back. I know. He'll fight. He'll use every resource. Let him fight. Maya's voice was steel. I've been waiting 15 years for this. I'm not stopping now. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. You bitch. You'll regret this. R.H. Richard. Already panicking. Maya showed it to Marcus. Save that, he said. Evidence of harassment. Another text.
Please, we can work this out. Don't do this. R.H. From arrogant to begging in under an hour. Maya didn't respond to either. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Dr. Richardson? Male voice. Older. Angry. This is Charles Hampton, Richard's father. Mr. Hampton? What the hell do you think you're doing? You're destroying my family's company over some petty divorce grudge? Petty? Maya's voice was ice. Your son called me defective in front of 200 people, violated a legally binding contract. And you think this is petty? Richard made a mistake. He apologizes. We can settle this. No. Excuse me? No settlement. No apology. No walking this back. Your son built his fortune on my invention. Spent 15 years taking credit for my work. Let the world think I was broken to protect his ego. Last night, he laughed when his new wife called me barren. So no, Mr. Hampton, there's no settlement. You're making a grave mistake. The only mistake I made was staying silent for 15 years. I'm correcting that now. She hung up. Marcus stared at her. You just hung up on Charles Hampton. I did. He's one of the most powerful men in New York. Not anymore. 8:47 a.m. The first tremor hit Wall Street. Hampton Aerospace stock opened at $187. By 8:50, it was $172. By 9, it was $156. By 9:15, trading was halted. Down 41% in 17 minutes. Marcus's phone was ringing non-stop. News outlets, investors, analysts. Maya's phone stayed silent, except for one text. Amanda Chen, Vanity Fair. Ready to tell your side of the story? Maya typed back. Meet me at the plaza, 2 p.m. Come alone. This wasn't just about taking back her company. This was about taking back her narrative. For 15 years, Richard had controlled the story. The barren first wife, the desperate billionaire, the new wife who finally gave him everything. Time to tell the truth. All of it. And when the world learned that Richard Hampton was sterile, that Vivian's baby was a fraud, that the entire empire was built on stolen technology from a black woman scientist who'd been silenced and discarded. When the world learned that Richard Hampton wouldn't just lose his company, he'd lose everything. His reputation, his legacy, his future. All because of one laugh. One moment of cruelty too far. Maya looked at Manhattan spread below her, the city Richard claimed to own. He shouldn't have laughed, she said quietly. Marcus stood beside her. No, he really shouldn't have. The war had begun, and Maya Richardson had no intention of losing. The first phone call hit Richard Hampton's cell at 8:03 a.m. He was still in bed. Vivienne curled against him, her hand resting on that belly he thought held his son. His empire. His legacy. The phone buzzed.
Then again. Then didn't stop.
Turn it off.
Vivian mumbled, pulling the silk sheets higher. Richard grabbed it, squinting at the screen. 12 missed calls, 23 texts. His COO, his CFO, his father, the board. All in 3 minutes. What the hell? He opened the first text from David Chen, his CFO. Stock crashing. Emergency. Call now. Then Robert, his COO. Manufacturing shutdown notice. What's happening? Then his father. Call me immediately, or I'm calling the lawyers. Richard's hands went cold. He dialed David. Picked up before the first ring finished. Richard, where the hell have you been? We've got a crisis. Hampton Aerospace stock opened down 18%. Now it's down 26%. Trading's about to be halted. What? Why? Patent dispute. Cease and desist filed at 8 a.m. Some company called Richardson Advanced Materials claiming we're using stolen IP. They're shutting down every facility we have. Shanghai, Munich, Austin, Seattle, everything. Richardson. The name hit Richard like ice water. Who filed it? A Dr. Maya Richardson. That's not... Richard, is that your ex-wife? Richard couldn't breathe. The phone nearly slipped from his hand. Vivian sat up. What's wrong? She wouldn't, Richard whispered. She signed the agreement. She can't. She can, and she did, David said, voice rising. The filing references breach of contract, Section 12, subsection C. Something about non-disparagement. Richard, what the hell did you do? Last night, the gala, Vivian's performance, his laugh. Defective. Get the lawyers, Richard said. All of them. Conference call in 20 minutes. Already done. But, Richard, the stock, it's in free fall. We've lost $30 billion in market cap in 30 minutes. $30 billion. In 30 minutes. Richard hung up, stumbled out of bed. His hands were shaking so hard he could barely pull on his robe. Richard? Vivian's voice was small, frightened. What's happening? What's happening? He spun on her. What's happening is that your little performance last night just cost me $30 billion. That's what's happening. My performance? You laughed. You called her defective. Because you started it. You couldn't just leave her alone. You had to humiliate her, had to win some pathetic little battle. Vivian's face went white. You blaming me? Who else should I blame? Richard was shouting now. She was nobody. She was nothing. She was going to disappear quietly, and you just had to... His phone rang again. His father. Richard answered. Dad? What in God's name have you done? Charles Hampton's voice could have frozen hell. I just got off the phone with the SEC. Maya Richardson filed a patent infringement claim against our company, the company I built, that you're destroying. I didn't know she would... You didn't know? You violated a non-disclosure agreement at a public event, and you didn't think there would be consequences? It was just words. It was a legal contract you broke in front of 200 witnesses. The board is calling an emergency meeting. You will be there. You will explain this. And Richard, if you can't fix this, I will. The line went dead. Richard stood there, phone in hand, world crumbling around him. Vivian's voice came from behind, small, terrified. Richard, the baby. What about the baby? What about us? He looked at her, really looked at her. This woman he'd married 6 months ago. This woman carrying a child that couldn't possibly be his. There is no us, he said quietly. There never was. Across town, Maya stood at the windows of Chen, Morrison and Associates, watching the sun climb over Manhattan. Behind her, 6 lawyers worked phones and laptops with military precision. Marcus appeared at her shoulder. Stock trading's halted, down 41%. That's $45 billion in market cap. Gone. Good. News outlets are calling it the fastest corporate collapse in a decade. CNN wants a statement. So does the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC. Tell them no comment. Not yet. Maya, you could control the narrative right now. I will. At 2 p.m. I'm meeting Amanda Chen at the plaza. Until then, let Richard drown in silence. Her phone buzzed.
Text from unknown number. You bitch. You'll destroy thousands of jobs, families. For what? Revenge? RH. Marcus saw it. He's panicking. He should be. Another text. Please, we can settle this. Name your price. RH. Maya showed Marcus. From threatening to begging in 8 minutes. Record time. You're not settling. Not for any price he could afford. At 8:47 a.m., Maya's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Dr. Richardson? Female voice. Older. Careful. This is General Patricia Morrison. We met at the gala last night. The Pentagon liaison. The woman who'd watched the whole humiliation. General, I won't waste your time. The Department of Defense is very concerned about the Hampton Aerospace situation. We have active contracts worth $23 billion. National security implications. I need to know if those contracts are in jeopardy. That depends. On what? On whether the Pentagon wants to keep doing business with a company built on stolen intellectual property, or whether you'd like to work with a woman who actually invented the technology. Silence. Then, I'm listening. Maya walked to the conference table, pulled up her laptop. Richardson Composite 2.0. 60% stronger than what Hampton's currently providing. 40% lighter. Radar invisible. Temperature resistant from -100 to +1500 Celsius. And it's ready now. Jesus Christ, the general breathed. You've been developing this? For 5 years. While Richard was taking credit for my old work, I was perfecting the new version. Can you maintain our production timelines? I can exceed them. But General, I need something in return. What? When the Hampton Aerospace Board meets tomorrow, I need the Pentagon's support. I need you to make it clear that your contracts go where I go. You're taking over the company. I'm taking back what was always mine. Long pause. Maya could hear the general thinking, calculating. Military minds moved fast. Dr. Richardson, off the record? Yes. I'm a black woman who spent 30 years in the military fighting for respect, fighting to be seen as competent, not diverse. What Richard Hampton did to you last night wasn't just cruel. It was racist, misogynistic garbage, and I'll be damned if I let him keep profiting from your genius. Maya's throat tightened. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just promise me one thing. What? When you take that company, you make it better. You hire the people he overlooked. You credit the work he stole. You build something that actually deserves the name. I promise. Then you have the Pentagon's support. I'll make calls. By tomorrow's board meeting, they'll know where their contracts are going. The general hung up. Marcus stared at Maya. Did you just secure Pentagon backing in a 10-minute phone call? I did. My God, you're terrifying when you're focused. Maya smiled. Richard's about to learn just how terrifying. At 9:15 a.m., in a penthouse across town, Vivian Laura Hampton was having her own crisis. Her phone buzzed. Text from Carter. We need to talk. Now. She typed back. Can't. Richard's losing it. Stock crashed. Maya's destroying everything. I know. That's why we need to talk. Meet me at the usual place. 1 hour. Vivian looked at the bathroom door. Richard was in there, on his 4th emergency call, voice hoarse from shouting.
She could leave. He wouldn't even notice. She grabbed her purse, slipped out. The usual place was a boutique hotel in Tribeca, room 412, registered under a fake name, where she and Carter had been meeting for 18 months. Carter was already there when she arrived, pacing like a caged animal. "This is bad," he said without preamble. "This is catastrophically bad." "I know. Richard's company is— I don't care about Richard's company. I care about our plan. Maya Richardson is dismantling everything faster than we can pivot." "What do you mean, pivot?" Carter stopped pacing, looked at her like she was stupid. "Our plan, Vivian. Get you pregnant with my baby. Have Richard claim it. Wait for the birth.
Expose his sterility. Trigger a board revolt. I take over. We get rich. We're already rich. Richard has nothing." Carter's voice was cold. "Richard's company is built on Maya's patents. Patents she just revoked. By tomorrow, Hampton Aerospace is worth maybe $20 billion. Maybe. And dropping fast." "But you said—" "I said a lot of things when I thought Richard controlled the company. But he doesn't. He never did. Maya did. And I severely underestimated her." Vivian's hand went to her stomach. "What about the baby? What about us?" Carter looked at her belly with something close to disgust. The baby was leverage when Richard's company was worth $100 billion. Now it's just a baby. Just another expense. Another liability. "You can't mean that." "I can, and I do. Vivian, you need to fix this." "Fix what? How?" "I don't know. Apologize to Maya. Beg. Cry. Do whatever women do. But get her to back off before there's nothing left to fight over." Vivian stared at him. This man she'd been sleeping with. This man whose baby she was carrying. This man who was supposed to love her. "You bastard," she whispered. "I'm a realist, and the reality is that Maya Richardson is about to burn Richard's empire to the ground. If you can't stop her, you're going to burn with it. And sweetheart, I'm not getting burned for anyone." He walked out, left her standing there, hand on her belly, alone. At 10:30 a.m., Maya sat across from Dr. James Wilson in the conference room. The former Hampton Aerospace CTO looked older than she remembered. Tired. "Thank you for coming," Maya said. "Thank you for finally doing something." James pulled out a laptop. "I've been waiting 3 years for this. Ever since Richard took credit for my plasma propulsion research and pushed me out." "You have proof?" "Emails, design documents, meeting notes, all time-stamped, all showing my team did the work while Richard was golfing in Scotland." James opened files. "But more than that, I have something you need to see." He pulled up a spreadsheet. "For the last 5 years, I've been tracking every patent Hampton Aerospace filed, matching them to internal personnel records. Want to guess how many patents Richard Hampton personally worked on? 0. 0. James smiled grimly. Every single innovation came from engineers, scientists, researchers, people he barely knew existed. But every patent filing lists him as primary inventor. Every press release credits him personally. It's systemic fraud." Marcus leaned forward. "Can you testify to this?" "I can. And I know 12 other former employees who will too. People Richard pushed out, overlooked, underpaid. People who watched him steal credit for years." Maya felt something fierce and hot in her chest. "This isn't just about me." "No," James said. "This is about every person whose work he stole, every mind he exploited. You're not just taking back your company, Maya. You're taking back all of ours." At 11 a.m., Richard Hampton sat in his home office, surrounded by 5 lawyers, all talking at once. "The cease and desist is legal."
The contract breach is documented. You called her defective on camera. There's no defense for this. We can file for an injunction. The injunction will fail. We need to settle. She won't settle. Shut up! Richard roared. The room went silent. Just tell me how to fix this. His lead attorney, Gerald Krantz, cleared his throat. Richard, the only way to fix this is to convince Maya Richardson to license the technology back to you. And given what you said last night, I don't see that happening. There has to be another way. There isn't. Hampton Aerospace's entire product line uses her patents. Without those patents, you can't manufacture anything, can't fulfill contracts, can't generate revenue. The company's dead in the water. Richard's phone rang. His father again. The board meeting is set for tomorrow, 10 a.m., Charles said. You will be there. You will have a solution. Or, Richard, I swear to God, I will vote to remove you myself. You can't. I can, and I will. I didn't spend 50 years building this company to watch you destroy it over some playground insult. It wasn't just an insult. She what? She left you quietly? Took a settlement and disappeared? Let you keep your precious reputation while she carried your shame? Yes, Richard, I know. I've always known. Richard's blood went cold. Known what? About your condition. About the real reason you divorced her. Did you think I wouldn't investigate when my son suddenly needed a new wife? I know everything, Richard, and I've kept your secret. But if you force my hand, if you make me choose between you and this company, I will burn your reputation to save the business. Do you understand me? The line went dead. Richard sat there, numb. Gerald spoke carefully. Richard, what condition is he talking about? Nothing. It's nothing. But the lawyer's eyes said he knew it was everything. At 1:45 p.m., Maya arrived at the Plaza Hotel. Amanda Chen was already there. 2 recorders on the table. Notebook open. Dr. Richardson, thank you for meeting me. Call me Maya. Maya, I have to ask the obvious question. Why now? Why destroy Richard Hampton's company over what he said at a gala? He didn't just insult me, Amanda. He broke a legal contract. But more than that, he revealed who he really is, who he's always been, which is a man who built an empire on other people's genius and convinced the world it was his. Maya pulled out documents, the original patents, her MIT thesis, the licensing agreement. 20 years ago, I invented the carbon fiber composite material that made Hampton Aerospace possible. I put Richard's name on the company because I loved him, because I thought we were partners, because I was young and stupid enough to believe that credit didn't matter as long as the work got done. Amanda was writing furiously. Then, I couldn't get pregnant. We went to doctors, got tested, and we learned that I was perfectly fertile. Richard was the one who was sterile, had been his whole life, would never father children naturally. Amanda's pen stopped. But Vivienne's pregnant. Exactly. So the baby isn't his, can't be his, which means either Vivienne used a sperm donor without telling him, or she's having an affair. Jesus Christ, Amanda breathed. Do you know who the father is? Maya met her eyes. I have suspicions, but I'll let Richard figure that out himself. Maya, this is the biggest story I've ever covered. The racism, the misogyny, the fraud, the fake pregnancy. This destroys him. Good. He deserves to be destroyed. But Amanda, I need you to understand something. This isn't about revenge. This is about truth. For 15 years, I let Richard control the narrative. Let him paint me as the barren, broken ex-wife while he played the tragic billionaire. I'm taking back my story, and in doing so, I'm taking back my life's work. What's your endgame? I'm taking over Hampton Aerospace, removing Richard and anyone who enabled him. Rebuilding the company the right way, with credit given where it's due, with scientists and engineers respected, not exploited, with a woman at the helm who actually invented the technology. Amanda smiled. When can I publish? Tomorrow, after the board meeting. I want Richard to see his world collapse in real time, then wake up the next day to find out the whole world knows why. At 6 p.m., Richard's phone buzzed. Text from Vivian. We need to talk. He found her in the living room, suitcases by the door. What's this? I'm leaving. You're what? No, you're not leaving. Not now. Yes, I am. Richard, this is over. Your company is dying. Maya's going to take everything. And I'm not going down with you. You're carrying my child. Something flickered in Vivian's eyes. Fear. Guilt. Am I? She asked quietly. Richard went very still. What did you just say? Am I carrying your child, Richard? Are you sure? Of course I'm... He stopped. Stared at her. No. No, you didn't. Didn't what? You know. You know I can't have children. How long have you known? Vivian's silence was answer enough. Who's the father? Richard's voice was barely a whisper. Does it matter? Who is the father? Carter. The word fell like a bomb. It's Carter's baby. It's always been Carter's. Richard stumbled backward, hit the wall, slid down until he was sitting on the floor. My brother. My own brother. It was his plan. Get me pregnant, have you claim the baby, then expose your sterility and take over the company. But Maya ruined everything. She moved too fast, destroyed too much. So Carter's gone. And I'm leaving too, because Richard, you're finished. And I'm not staying on a sinking ship. She grabbed her suitcases, walked out. The door closed behind her. Richard sat there on the floor of his penthouse, alone. Company crashing, wife gone, brother a traitor, ex-wife destroying everything he'd built on foundations that were never his. And tomorrow, he had to face the board. Tomorrow, he had to face Maya. Tomorrow, he had to watch everything end. His phone buzzed one last time. Text from Maya. Sleep well. Tomorrow you learn what happens when you forget who really built your empire. Richard closed his eyes. He didn't sleep at all. The alarm went off at 6 a.m., but Richard had been staring at the ceiling for hours. He dragged himself out of bed, showered, shaved, put on his most expensive suit like armor he knew wouldn't protect him. The penthouse was silent. No Vivienne, no one. Just him and the empire about to collapse. His phone showed 43 missed calls. He ignored them all except one. His father. I'm on my way, Richard said. You better be. And Richard, bring your resignation letter, just in case. I'm not resigning. Then you better have a miracle, because the board wants blood. The car ride to Hampton Tower felt like driving to his own execution. James, his driver of 10 years, didn't meet his eyes in the rearview mirror. Even he knew. At 9:30 a.m., Richard stepped into the elevator, pressed 80, watched the numbers climb like a countdown to 0. The 80th floor was chaos. Assistants rushing, lawyers whispering, board members arriving one by one, their faces grim. Mr. Hampton, his assistant, Jennifer, looked terrified. They're waiting for you in the boardroom. Who's here? Everyone. Your father, the full board, and sir, Dr. Richardson arrived 10 minutes ago. She brought her own team. Richard's stomach dropped. She's here? Now? She has 31% of the company's stock, sir. She has the right to attend. Of course she did. Maya had thought of everything. Richard walked to the boardroom, stopped at the door, heard voices inside. His father's voice. "This is unconscionable. My own son destroying what I built." Then a voice he hadn't heard in person for 6 years. Calm, clear, devastating. Maya. "Mr. Hampton, with respect, Richard didn't build this company. I did. He just put his name on it." Richard pushed open the door. 12 board members sat around the table. His father at one end, face like granite. General Morrison, in uniform, arms crossed. David Chen, the CFO, looking anywhere but at Richard. And at the opposite end, in what should have been an empty seat, sat Maya Richardson. She wore white, a power suit that made her look like an avenging angel. Next to her sat Marcus Chen, 3 other lawyers, and Dr. James Wilson. "Richard," his father's voice could have frozen fire. "Sit down." Richard took his usual seat at the head of the table, or tried to. Maya was already staring at him. "That's my seat," he said. "Not anymore," Charles Hampton said. "Sit there." He pointed to a chair on the side, the kind reserved for junior executives, for people being questioned. Richard's face burned, but he sat. "Let's begin," Charles said. "We're here because 48 hours ago, Hampton Aerospace Industries lost $63 billion in market value. Our stock is down 58%. Our manufacturing is shut down. Our Pentagon contracts are frozen. And the reason is sitting across from my son." All eyes turned to Maya. "Dr. Richardson," Charles continued, "you've alleged patent infringement. You've filed to revoke our technology license. You've publicly destroyed this company's reputation. I'd like to hear your justification." Maya stood, clicked a remote. The screen behind her lit up. "My justification is simple. This company was built on my intellectual property. I licensed that IP to Richard Hampton under a contract that contained strict non-disclosure provisions. 72 hours ago, Richard violated that contract in the most public way possible." She clicked again. The video played. The gala. Vivian mocking her. Richard laughing. The word defective echoing through the boardroom. The board members shifted uncomfortably. "That's a contract breach," Maya said. "But it's more than that. It's the culmination of 20 years of lies. 20 years of Richard Hampton taking credit for work he didn't do, for genius he doesn't possess, for an empire he didn't build." "That's absurd," Richard said, finding his voice. "I built this company from nothing." "You built it from my doctoral thesis." Maya clicked again. The screen showed her MIT thesis, dated 2012. Advanced Carbon Fiber Composite Materials for Aerospace Applications, written by Maya Richardson, 3 years before Hampton Aerospace was founded. Another click. Patent filings, all listing Maya as primary inventor, all dated before the company existed. "I gave you permission to use my technology," Maya said. "I put your name on the company because I loved you, because I thought we were partners." "That was my mistake." "We were partners," Richard said. "We built this together." "No, I built this. You sold it." David Chen, the CFO, spoke up. "Dr. Richardson, even if what you say is true, you can't just destroy the company. We have 15,000 employees, pension funds, investors." "I'm not destroying anything," Maya interrupted. "I'm taking back what's mine and rebuilding it properly. But first, this board needs to understand exactly what kind of man Richard Hampton is." She turned to Richard. Tell them the real reason we divorced." Richard's blood went cold. "That's personal. That's none of their... It became their business when you built your reputation on a lie. When you let the world think I was defective. when you violated our agreement. Tell them, Richard, or I will." Silence. Richard's hands gripped the armrests. His father was staring at him. The whole board was staring. "I don't know what you're talking about," Richard said, but his voice cracked. "Then let me help." Maya pulled out a document. "This is a medical record from Dr. Sarah Morrison, Park Avenue Reproductive Medicine, dated March 15, 2014. It shows fertility test results for Richard and Maya Hampton." She slid copies across the table. Board members picked them up, started reading. Richard watched their faces change. Confusion, understanding, shock. "The results show that I have excellent fertility," Maya said. "And Richard has severe congenital azoospermia, 0 sperm count. He is, and has always been, completely sterile." The room exploded. "What? That can't be." "But Vivian's pregnant." The last comment came from one of the younger board members. Everyone turned to look at him, then at Richard. Richard couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. "Exactly," Maya said quietly. "Vivian Laurent Hampton is 6 months pregnant. Richard Hampton is biologically sterile. Someone explain that math." Charles Hampton stood up slowly. "Richard, is this true?" Richard's mouth opened, closed. Is this true?" "Yes." The word came out as a whisper. "Yes, it's true. I'm sterile. I've always been sterile." "Then whose baby is Vivian carrying?" "I don't know. I thought... she said..." Richard's voice broke. "It's Carter's. The baby is Carter's." More explosion, more chaos. "Your brother? Carter knows? This is a conspiracy?" Charles Hampton's face went purple. "Quiet!" Everyone stopped. The old man turned to Richard. "Explain, now." Richard's whole body was shaking. "Carter and Vivian have been having an affair for over a year. They planned it. Get her pregnant. Have me claim the baby. Wait until after the birth, then expose my condition. Carter would trigger a board revolt, take over the company." "My own sons." Charles's voice was barely audible. "My own blood." "But sir," General Morrison spoke up, "if Richard knew he was sterile, why marry Vivienne in the first place? Why set himself up for this?" "Because I didn't know she knew," Richard said miserably. "I thought she believed the baby was mine. I thought I could, I don't know, adopt it after birth or something. I wasn't thinking clearly. I just wanted an heir, wanted to prove I wasn't defective." Maya's voice cut like a blade. "That's the word you used, isn't it? You wanted to prove you weren't defective. So you married a woman young enough to be your daughter, claimed her baby as yours, and built your entire second act on another lie." "I had no choice." "You had every choice. You could have told the truth, could have adopted openly, could have accepted that biological children weren't possible. Instead, you made me the villain. Let me carry your shame for 15 years while you played the tragic billionaire." Richard stood up. "I protected you too. I gave you the settlement. I kept quiet about..." "About what? About the fact that I sacrificed my reputation to save yours? That's not protection, Richard. That's extortion. I took the blame so you could keep your pride. And you repaid me by calling me defective in front of 200 people." She stepped closer. They were face to face now across the table. "You broke our contract," Maya said. "You humiliated me. You revealed yourself as a fraud, and now you're going to lose everything I built for you." "Members of the board," Marcus Chen stood, "we'd like to present additional evidence of Richard Hampton's fraudulent behavior." Dr. James Wilson stood next. My name is Dr. James Wilson. I was CTO of Hampton Aerospace until 3 years ago, when Richard forced me out after I questioned his leadership. I'm here to testify that Richard Hampton has systematically stolen credit for innovations he didn't create. James pulled out documents. Every major patent filed by this company in the last decade. None of them list the actual inventors. All of them credit Richard Hampton as primary researcher. I have emails, meeting notes, and testimony from 12 other former employees proving that Richard has never personally developed a single piece of technology. He's a plagiarist on an industrial scale. The board was silent, stunned. Furthermore, James continued, I have evidence that Richard has been misappropriating R&D funds. Millions of dollars budgeted for research actually went to his personal expenses. Private jets, real estate, his wedding to Vivienne. David Chen, the CFO, went pale. That's embezzlement. Yes, it is. Richard lunged across the table at James. You lying son of a... Security appeared from nowhere, grabbed Richard's arms, pulled him back. Sit down, Mr. Hampton, one of them said. Not sir, not boss. Mr. Hampton. They already knew he was finished. Charles Hampton looked at his son with something beyond anger, beyond disappointment, something close to grief. I built this company 50 years ago, the old man said. Started in a garage, worked 16-hour days, sacrificed everything. And I handed it to you, Richard, because you were my son, because I believed in you. He paused, his voice cracked. But you were never the man I thought you were. You're not a builder. You're a thief. You're not a leader. You're a fraud. And I will not let you destroy what I built. He turned to the board. I move to remove Richard Hampton as CEO of Hampton Aerospace Industries immediately. Second, General Morrison said without hesitation. All in favor? 11 hands went up. Every board member except Richard. Motion carries. Richard, you're fired. Richard slumped in his chair. Dad, please. I'm not your father right now. I'm the chairman of this board. And you're done. Maya spoke into the silence. There's one more person who needs to be removed. The boardroom doors opened. Security escorted someone in. Carter Hampton. He was in handcuffs. What the hell? Carter struggled against the guards. You can't arrest me. I haven't done anything. Actually, you have, Maya said. You conspired to commit fraud. You impregnated Richard's wife as part of a scheme to steal the company. You violated securities laws by planning to manipulate stock prices through false information about Richard's heir. And you just lost. She turned to the board. Carter Hampton was planning a coup. He was going to use Vivian's baby to trigger a takeover. The evidence is in your folders. Text messages between Carter and Vivian. Hotel receipts. Financial records showing Carter bought put options on Hampton Aerospace stock 3 months ago, betting the price would crash. Board members flipped through folders. Faces darkened. He was going to profit from his own brother's destruction, Maya said, from this company's collapse. That's not just unethical, it's criminal. Charles Hampton looked at his younger son. Carter. It wasn't supposed to go this way, Carter said desperately. Richard was weak. The company needed real leadership. I was trying to save yourself, you mean? Charles's voice was ice. You weren't trying to save anything. You were trying to steal. He turned to the board. I move to remove Carter Hampton from the board immediately and refer this matter to the SEC for criminal investigation. Second, Maya said. All in favor? 12 hands. Every single one. Get him out of my sight, Charles said. Security dragged Carter out. He was screaming. This isn't over. You can't do this. I'll sue. The doors closed on his voice. Richard and Charles were left staring at each other. Father and son, both old men now, in different ways. "I'm sorry, Dad," Richard whispered. "So am I." Maya stood at the head of the table. "The company is without leadership, without direction, without trust. You need someone who actually knows how this technology works. Someone who can save your Pentagon contracts. Someone who can rebuild what Richard destroyed." She looked at each board member in turn. "I'm offering you a choice. Option A. I maintain my cease and desist. Hampton Aerospace declares bankruptcy within a week. 15,000 people lose their jobs. Your investments become worthless. And I build my own company from your ashes." Silence. Option B. You give me controlling interest, 51%. You make me chairwoman and CEO, and I will license Richardson Composite 2.0 to this company. I will save your Pentagon contracts. I will save your jobs. I will rebuild this company into something that actually deserves to exist. David Chen spoke carefully. "Dr. Richardson, you're asking us to hand over the company. I'm asking you to give back what was always mine. And if we refuse, then by Friday, you'll all be looking for new jobs. Your choice." General Morrison spoke up. "The Pentagon has made its position clear. Our contracts go where Dr. Richardson goes. If she's not running this company, we're not doing business with it." "That's $23 billion in contracts," David said, doing the math.
We can't survive without them.
"No," Maya said. "You can't." Charles Hampton looked at her for a long moment. Then he stood. 20 years ago, my son brought home a brilliant young woman. She was quiet, kind, generous with her genius. She made Richard better than he was, made all of us better. And we repaid her by letting Richard take credit for her work, by staying silent when he divorced her, by enabling his lies. He paused. "I knew the truth about Richard's condition. I've known for years. And I said nothing because he was my son, because I wanted to protect him. That was wrong. Dr. Richardson, I apologize. For my silence. For my son's cruelty. For all of it." "Thank you," Maya said quietly. "And I vote yes. Give Dr. Richardson controlling interest. Make her CEO. It's long overdue." One by one, the other board members voted. Yes. 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 All the way around the table. Unanimous. "Motion carries," Charles said. "Dr. Maya Richardson is now chairwoman and CEO of Hampton Aerospace Industries." Maya didn't smile, didn't celebrate, just nodded once. "Thank you. My first act as CEO is to remove Richard Hampton from these premises. Security?" The guards who'd been standing by the wall moved toward Richard. "Mr. Hampton, you need to come with us." "This is my building," Richard said, but there was no fight left in him. "I built this." "No," Maya said. "I built this. You just lived in it. Now get out." Richard stood, looked at his father one last time. The old man turned away, looked at the board. They were already moving on, already discussing transition plans with Maya. Looked at Maya. She met his eyes with nothing. No anger, no triumph, just cold, final dismissal. "You'll regret this," Richard said. "No, Richard, you'll regret laughing. I'm just correcting the mistake I made 20 years ago when I put your name on my work." Security escorted him out. Richard Hampton, former Billionaire CEO, walked through his own building for the last time. Employees stared, whispered. Some looked sorry. Most looked relieved. The elevator doors closed on his face. Maya stood at the window of the boardroom, watching the sun climb over Manhattan. Her city now. Her company. Her empire. Marcus appeared at her shoulder. You did it. Not yet. This is just the beginning. The stock's already recovering. Up 11% in the last hour. The news is out. Maya Richardson takes control. Promises new era. You're on every channel. Good. Schedule a company-wide meeting for 2 p.m. I want to address every employee. Tell them what's changing. And Richard? Maya turned. Richard is yesterday's news. I'm focused on tomorrow. Her phone buzzed. Text from Amanda Chen. Article going live in 10 minutes. You're going to break the internet. Maya smiled. Let's see how Richard likes being the story, instead of writing it. At 2 p.m., Maya stood in the atrium of Hampton Tower. 3,000 employees packed in. Thousands more watching on video feeds from offices around the world. She looked out at faces. Young engineers, older scientists, people who'd worked under Richard for years, people who'd been overlooked, undervalued, erased. My name is Dr. Maya Richardson, she began. As of this morning, I'm your CEO. I know many of you are scared, uncertain about what happens next. Let me be clear. She paused. Let the silence build. This company was built on lies, on stolen credit, on a culture where one man's ego mattered more than 15,000 people's contributions. That ends today. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Starting immediately, every patent filed by this company will list the actual inventors. Every innovation will credit the team that created it. Every employee will be valued for their work, not their proximity to power. The murmurs got louder, hopeful now. I'm also announcing a company-wide audit. Every decision Richard Hampton made in the last 5 years will be reviewed. Every promotion, every termination, every budget allocation. And if we find that talented people were pushed out for speaking truth to power, I will personally call them and ask them to come back. Applause started, scattered at first, then building. Finally, I'm renaming this company. Hampton Aerospace Industries is dead. Welcome to Richardson Aerospace. Welcome to a company that values genius over ego, truth over image, people over profit. The applause was thunderous now. Maya raised her hand. Silence fell. Some of you are wondering about Richard Hampton. Let me tell you a story. 20 years ago, I was a young scientist with a breakthrough. I gave it to a man I loved. Let him put his name on it. Let him build an empire while I stayed in the shadows. I did that because I believed in partnership, in loyalty, in love. Her voice hardened. That man repaid me by calling me defective, by mocking me in public, by building his reputation on my silence. So I took back what was mine, not for revenge, but because I finally understood that my genius doesn't need to hide behind anyone else's name. She looked out at the crowd, saw young women, women of color, people who'd been told they weren't enough. If you take anything from today, take this. Never give away your power. Never let someone else take credit for your work. Never believe that staying small makes someone else bigger. You are enough. Your work matters. And under my leadership, everyone will know it. The building shook with applause. Maya stepped down from the podium. Marcus was waiting. That was perfect, he said. That was honest. Finally. Her phone buzzed. Text from General Morrison. Pentagon ready to sign new contracts. $31 billion. Welcome to the big leagues, Madam CEO. Another text. Dr. Sarah Morrison. Watching your speech. Crying, you magnificent woman. Another, James Wilson. Just got your call. I'm coming back as CTO. Let's build something amazing. Maya looked at her phone. All these messages, all these people, all this possibility. 20 years ago, she'd given her genius away. Today, she'd taken it back. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, she was going to change the world. The news broke at 3:47 p.m.
Amanda Chen's article hit Vanity Fair's website with a headline that stopped the internet. The Defective Lie: How Richard Hampton Built a Billion-Dollar Empire on His Black Ex-Wife's Genius and Her Silence. Maya's phone exploded. So did every phone in Richardson Aerospace. So did Richard's, wherever he was. Marcus burst into Maya's new office. "Maya, you need to see this. The article. It's everywhere." She pulled it up, started reading. Amanda had done her job perfectly. Every detail, every document, the medical records proving Richard's sterility, the patents showing Maya's invention, the timeline of lies, the racist mockery at the gala, Vivian's affair with Carter, the conspiracy to steal the company. But it was the opening paragraph that made Maya's breath catch. For 15 years, the tech world celebrated Richard Hampton as a visionary, a genius, a titan of industry. But Richard Hampton never invented anything. He never built anything. He never created anything. He just married a brilliant black woman, stole her work, destroyed her reputation, and convinced the world he was the hero of his own story. Until she took it all back. "It's been shared 200,000 times in 20 minutes, Marcus said. Twitter's on fire. Reddit's melting down. Every major news outlet is picking it up." Maya kept reading. Amanda had interviewed former employees, people Richard had fired, people he'd cheated, people who'd watched him steal credit for years. Dr. James Wilson. Richard Hampton couldn't engineer his way out of a paper bag. Everything brilliant that came from Hampton Aerospace came from people he exploited. A former female engineer. He once told me in a meeting that my ideas were cute. Then he pitched the exact same concept to the board 2 days later and took credit. When I complained to HR, I was fired for not being a team player. Another employee. We all knew Richard was a fraud, but he had power and money and connections. Speaking up meant career suicide. Dr. Richardson speaking up means freedom. Maya's hands were shaking, not from fear, from vindication. Her phone rang, unknown number. She almost didn't answer. "Dr. Richardson?" Male voice, unfamiliar. "This is Jonathan Pierce from the New York Times. I know you're not taking press calls, but I have information you need to hear." "What information?" "Richard Hampton checked into the Plaza Hotel this morning. Room 2847. He's been there all day. And ma'am, hotel security called NYPD 30 minutes ago. They're concerned he might be a danger to himself." Maya's stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" "He's been drinking heavily, refusing to leave his room, making concerning statements to staff. The police are there now doing a wellness check." "I see." "Ma'am, I'm asking for a comment, not for the story. For Richard Hampton. Should we be worried?" Maya thought about the man she'd loved, the man who'd destroyed her, the man who is now alone in a hotel room, his empire gone, his lies exposed, his whole world collapsed. She thought about feeling sorry for him. She didn't. "Mr. Pierce, Richard Hampton made his choices. He chose cruelty over kindness, lies over truth, ego over integrity. Whatever happens now is a consequence of those choices. I have no comment beyond that." She hung up. Marcus was staring at her. "Maya, are you okay?" "I'm fine." He might hurt himself.
Then that's his choice too. I spent 15 years protecting him from himself. I'm done. But her hands were still shaking when she set down the phone. At 4:15 p.m., across town in a boutique hotel in Chelsea, Vivian Laurent Hampton sat on a bed that wasn't hers, staring at her phone. The article, the comments, the tweets, the world tearing her apart. Gold-digging whore, racist trash. Hope Carter was worth it because your career is over. Her Instagram was gone, disabled, too many death threats. Her agency had dropped her. Her publicist wasn't returning calls. Her credit cards were declining. Richard had frozen everything. She was 6 months pregnant, alone, broke, and famous for all the wrong reasons. Her phone rang. Her mother. "Vivian Marie Laurent, what have you done?" "Mama, I'm watching CNN. They're calling you a conspirator, a fraud. They're saying you slept with 2 brothers, that you tried to steal billions of dollars." "It wasn't supposed to go like this. Carter said—" "I don't care what Carter said. I raised you better than this. I taught you that beauty fades, but character lasts. And you threw it all away for money you didn't even get." "I'm pregnant, Mama. I'm pregnant and alone, and everyone hates me." "Whose baby is it really, Vivian? Tell me the truth." Silence. "Oh, baby," her mother's voice softened. "What did you do?" "I fell in love with the wrong man. I trusted the wrong plan, and now I have nothing. You have that baby, that innocent child who didn't ask to be born into this mess. That baby deserves better than this, better than you've been." "I know. Then you figure out how to be better. You apologize to Maya Richardson. You tell the truth. You do whatever it takes to give that baby a chance at a decent life. You hear me?" "Yes, Mama. I love you, but I'm disappointed in you. Fix this." The line went dead. Vivian looked at her reflection in the mirror. 28 years old, pregnant, destroyed, alone. She picked up her phone, typed a message to Maya Richardson. "I'm sorry. I know that's not enough. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But my baby deserves a chance. Please, I'm begging you. Don't let my mistakes destroy an innocent life. I'll do anything. I'll tell the truth. I'll testify. I'll disappear. Whatever you want. Just please don't hurt my baby for what I did. Vivian." She hit send before she could change her mind. At 5 p.m., Maya's new assistant knocked on her office door. "Dr. Richardson, there's a situation in the lobby." "What kind of situation?" "It's Richard Hampton's father, Charles Hampton. He's asking to see you. He says it's urgent." Maya found the old man in the reception area. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 hours. "Mr. Hampton." "Please, call me Charles. I'm not here as a board member. I'm here as a father. May we talk privately?" They went to a small conference room. Charles sat heavily. "I owe you an apology that's 20 years overdue," he said. "I knew. About Richard's condition. About your sacrifice. About everything. And I stayed silent because he was my son, and I wanted to protect him. I understand protecting family. No, you don't. Because you're a better person than I am. You protected Richard even when it cost you everything. I protected him even when I knew he was wrong. There's a difference." Maya waited. "Richard called me an hour ago," Charles continued. "From the plaza. He was drunk, rambling, talking about how he'd lost everything, how everyone hated him, how maybe the world would be better if he just—" He stopped, couldn't finish. "He's not well, Maya. I'm not asking you to forgive him. I'm not asking you to take him back. I'm asking you, as a father who's watching his son destroy himself, Is there any mercy left in you? Maya thought about mercy. About Richard's laugh echoing through the museum. About 15 years of carrying his shame. What would you have me do, Charles? Call him, just once. Tell him he'll survive this. Tell him there's a path forward. Not back to you, not back to the company, but forward, somewhere, anywhere. I can't reach him. He won't listen to me. But you're the only person who ever really knew him. I knew who I thought he was. Turns out I was wrong. Please, I'm begging you. Not for Richard's sake, for mine. I can't lose my son. Maya pulled out her phone, stared at it. Every instinct said no. Said Richard had made his bed. Said he didn't deserve her compassion. But she looked at Charles Hampton, this powerful man reduced to begging for his son's life, and something in her softened. Not for Richard, for the father who loved him anyway. I'll think about it, she said. But Charles, you need to understand something. Richard's pain is his own creation. His loneliness is his own doing. And his healing, if it comes, has to come from him, not from me saving him again. I know, but maybe just knowing you don't hate him enough to want him dead, maybe that's enough to get him through today. I don't hate him. I pity him. He had everything and threw it away for pride. Will you call him? Maya looked at the old man, saw genuine fear, genuine love. I'll send a text. That's all I can offer. Charles's shoulders sagged with relief. Thank you. After he left, Maya sat alone, opened her messages, started typing. Richard, this is Maya. Your father is worried. I'm told you're in a dark place. I won't pretend I'm not angry. I won't pretend you didn't earn this. But I also won't pretend I want you to hurt yourself. You made terrible choices. You can make better ones going forward. Get help. Get sober. Get honest. Maybe somewhere on the other side of that, you'll find a version of yourself worth being. But that's your work to do, not mine. M. She hit send, then turned off her phone. She was done saving Richard Hampton. At 6:30 p.m., Dr. James Wilson appeared at Maya's office door with 2 coffees and a grin. Boss, you're working too late on your first day. There's too much to do. There'll be too much to do tomorrow, too. Come on, I want to show you something. He led her down to the R&D floor. The labs were still full despite the late hour. Engineers and scientists working. Watch this, James said. He approached a young woman at a computer station. Dr. Martinez, tell Dr. Richardson what you just told me. The woman looked up. She couldn't have been more than 25. Dr. Richardson, I've been working on a modification to your composite formula, adding graphene oxide to increase thermal resistance. I think I can improve the heat tolerance by another 30%. Show me, Maya said. For the next hour, Maya and Dr. Martinez talked science. Pure, beautiful, uncomplicated science. Formulas and stress tests and possibilities. When they finished, Maya turned to James. Hire her, for my personal research team. Dr. Martinez's eyes went wide. Seriously? How long have you worked here? 3 years. Under Richard Hampton, I was basically invisible. He never even learned my name. Well, I know your name now, and your work is brilliant. Welcome to the team, Dr. Martinez. The young woman started crying. Thank you. Thank you. You don't know what this means. I do know. I was you once. Invisible genius. Not anymore. As they walked back, James said quietly, there are 50 more like her in this building. Brilliant minds that Richard ignored because they were women, or brown, or young, or all 3. Then we're going to find them all, and we're going to build something Richard never could. A company where genius is actually valued. At 8 p.m., Maya's assistant knocked again. "Doctor."
Richardson, there's someone here. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's important. Her name is Vivian Hampton. Maya's first instinct was to say no. Send her away. Let her drown in the consequences of her choices. But curiosity won. "Send her in." Vivian looked terrible. No makeup, swollen eyes, wearing jeans and a t-shirt instead of designer clothes. Her baby bump obvious now without the strategic styling. "Thank you for seeing me," Vivian said.
"I know I don't deserve it." "You don't. Say what you came to say." "I'm sorry. I know that's inadequate. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I need you to know I'm sorry for what I did, what I said, what I was." "Were you sleeping with Carter when you mocked me at the gala?" Vivian flinched. "Yes." "Were you pregnant with his baby when you called me incomplete?" "Yes." "Did you know Richard was sterile when you married him?" "Carter told me. He said it was the perfect setup. Marry Richard, have Carter's baby, wait for the revelation, take over the company. I didn't understand what I was really doing. I didn't understand I was helping to destroy a man, to steal from you. I just wanted the money and the lifestyle and you got exactly what you deserved. Nothing." Vivian started crying. I know I'm garbage. I know everyone hates me. I know my baby is going to grow up seeing articles about what a terrible person their mother was. But Maya, please, my baby didn't choose this. My baby is innocent. And I'm begging you, if there's any mercy in you, don't let my mistakes destroy my child's future. Maya looked at this woman, this young, stupid, broken woman who'd been so cruel and was now so desperate. "What do you want from me, Vivian?" "I don't know. Forgiveness, a job, a chance, anything that lets me provide for my baby. Carter's gone. Richard's frozen everything. My family won't help. I have nothing." "You should have thought about that before you mocked me for being barren while carrying another man's baby." "I know, you're right. I deserve everything that's happening to me. But please, my baby doesn't." Maya stared at her. This woman who'd been so vicious, so cruel, so proud, now begging. And Maya felt something she didn't expect. Not forgiveness, not friendship, but a strange, distant pity for this girl who'd played a game she didn't understand and lost everything.
"I can't give you forgiveness," Maya said. "That's not mine to give for what you did. But I can give you information."
"What information?" "There's a women's shelter in Brooklyn, St. Margaret's. They help pregnant women with nowhere to go. They provide housing, medical care, job training. I donate to them. I'll call ahead, tell them you're coming. They'll take you in." Vivian's face crumpled. "A shelter? You said you had nothing. I'm offering you something. Take it or leave it."
I thought you might offer me a job or..."
"A job? After what you did?" "No, Vivian. You don't get a job here. You don't get money. You don't get an easy way out. You get a chance. One chance. To learn how to be better than you were. To build something on your own instead of stealing someone else's life. What you do with that chance is up to you." Vivian stood there, tears streaming. "I don't deserve even that much." "No, you don't. But your baby does. So go to St. Margaret's.
Get help. Get clean. Get honest.
And maybe someday, when your child asks what kind of person their mother was, you'll have a different answer than the woman who tried to destroy Maya Richardson." Vivian nodded, wiped her eyes. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. Thank your baby for being innocent. Now leave. I have work to do." After Vivian left, Marcus appeared. "That was unexpectedly kind." "That wasn't kind. That was strategic."
Vivian in a shelter, getting help,
telling the truth about Carter and Richard, is more valuable to us than Vivian on the streets becoming a sympathetic victim. Plus, the baby really is innocent. Remind me never to play chess against you. Remind yourself every day. At 10 p.m., Maya was finally alone in her office. The building was quiet, most employees gone home, just security and a few engineers pulling late hours. Her phone buzzed. A text from Richard, the first time he'd responded. I read your message. You're right. About all of it. I made terrible choices. I hurt you. I hurt everyone. I don't expect forgiveness. But thank you for not wanting me dead. It's more than I deserve. I'm checking into a facility tomorrow, getting help. Maybe someday I'll be someone worth being. Probably not. But I'll try. For what it's worth, Maya, you were always too good for me. I knew it then. I know it now. I'm sorry. R. Maya read it twice, then deleted it. She didn't need Richard's apology, didn't need his acknowledgement, didn't need anything from him ever again. She opened her laptop, pulled up the company files, started making changes. At 11:30 p.m., Marcus found her still working. Maya, go home, sleep. The company will still be here tomorrow. I know. I just keep thinking about all the people Richard hurt, all the innovations he stole credit for, all the careers he destroyed. I want to fix it all tonight.
You can't fix 20 years of damage in one night.
I know, but I can start. She pulled up a list. 53 names. Former employees. Pushed out. Fired. Forced to resign. Tomorrow, I'm calling every person on this list, offering them their jobs back, with apologies, with back pay for what they lost, with the credit they deserved. That's going to cost millions. I don't care. This company has the money. It's time we spent it on the right things. Marcus smiled. You're going to change the world, aren't you? I'm going to try, starting with this company. Then we'll see. At midnight, Maya finally left the office. The city was quiet. Lights scattered across the skyline. Her skyline now. She looked up at the Hampton Tower. No, Richardson Tower. Soon the sign would change. Everything would change. And somewhere, in a hotel room, or a hospital, or a facility, Richard Hampton was facing the wreckage of his choices. Vivian was heading to a shelter. Her empire of lies collapsed. Carter was probably talking to lawyers, trying to avoid prison. And Maya? Maya was just getting started. She pulled out her phone, called a number she'd been holding on to for days. Dr. Morrison? This is Maya Richardson. I hope I'm not calling too late. I wanted to ask you something. Would you be interested in serving as the medical director for a new initiative I'm starting? The Richardson Foundation for Women in STEM. We're going to fund research, provide mentorship, create opportunities for women of color in science. And I'd like you to help lead it. She could hear Dr. Morrison crying on the other end. Maya, yes. 1,000 times yes. Good. We have a lot of work to do. A lot of young women to help. A lot of lies to correct. You ready? I've been ready for 30 years. Then let's build something beautiful. Maya hung up, smiled. Tomorrow, the real work began. Tonight, she let herself feel it. The victory, the vindication, the sheer impossible fact that she'd done it. She'd taken back her empire. She'd exposed the lies. She'd won. And the woman they called defective had just proven she was anything but. 6 months later, Maya stood in front of a vacant lot in Harlem at 9 a.m. on a cold November morning, watching 200 young girls in hard hats arrive on school buses. The Richardson Innovation Center groundbreaking. The culmination of half a year of work.
of building,
of healing, of proving that the woman they called defective could create something that would outlive them all.
Dr. Richardson? Jennifer, her assistant, appeared with a tablet. The press is set up. City Council is here. The mayor's running late, but confirmed. And there's someone asking for you. Says it's important. Who? Charles Hampton. Maya hadn't seen Richard's father since that night he'd begged her to save his son's life. She'd heard Richard was out of rehab, living quietly somewhere. No longer in New York. No longer in the news. She found Charles standing by the construction fence, looking older but steadier than before. Maya, thank you for seeing me. You have 2 minutes. I have a ceremony to start. I know. I won't keep you. I came to say thank you for saving my son's life. I didn't save anything. I sent a text. That text kept him alive long enough to get help. He's been sober for 5 months now, living in Vermont.
Teaching high school physics. He's trying to be better.
Good for him. He wanted me to give you this. Charles held out an envelope. He knows you won't read it, knows you probably shouldn't, but he wanted you to have it anyway. Maya took the envelope, didn't open it. Is that all? No, I also came to say I'm proud of you. What you've built in 6 months is extraordinary. The company's thriving. The foundation is changing lives. You're everything I hoped Richard would be and never was. I was always this, Charles. You just never looked. I know, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I voted to rename the building Richardson Tower. The sign goes up next week. I know. I approved it. Charles smiled sadly. Of course you did. It's your company now. Good luck today, Maya. Those girls are lucky to have you. After he left, Maya opened the envelope. Inside was a single handwritten note. Maya, I don't expect forgiveness. Don't deserve it. But I'm learning to be the man I should have been. Teaching kids who remind me of you. Brilliant minds who need someone to believe in them. I finally understand what you tried to teach me 20 years ago. That genius doesn't need credit. It just needs opportunity. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to start over. I won't waste it. Richard. Maya read it once, then put it in her pocket. Not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. That was enough. At 10 a.m., the ceremony began. The lot was packed. Community leaders, foster parents, teachers, and 200 girls, ages 12 to 18, all wearing bright blue hard hats with Richardson Innovation Center printed on them. Dr. Sarah Morrison stood beside Maya. So did General Patricia Morrison, Dr. James Wilson, Marcus Chen, the team that had helped her win. The mayor spoke first. Predictable words about investment and opportunity and the future. Then General Morrison. 6 months ago, the Pentagon was concerned about the collapse of Hampton Aerospace. Today, I'm here to announce that Richardson Aerospace has exceeded every performance metric. The new composite material is being integrated into the next generation of defense systems, and Dr. Maya Richardson has proven that genius combined with integrity is unstoppable. The crowd applauded. Then Maya took the podium, looked out at those 200 faces, black girls, brown girls, Asian girls, white girls from broken homes, girls who'd been told they weren't enough, weren't smart enough, weren't valuable enough, girls who reminded her of herself. My name is Dr. Maya Richardson, she began. 6 months ago, I stood in front of the world and told my truth, that I'd been called barren, called defective, called incomplete, because I let a man take credit for my genius. And when I couldn't give him biological children, he threw me away like I was nothing. Silence. Complete attention. Today I'm standing here in Harlem, on ground that was also called barren, forgotten, overlooked, worthless. And I'm about to plant a seed. Not of blood, not of biology. A seed of possibility. She gestured to the blueprints behind her. The Richardson Innovation Center will house laboratories, classrooms, and workshops where young women like you will learn science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Where you'll build and create and innovate.
Where you'll prove that genius has no gender, no race, no required background except curiosity and determination. A young girl in the front row raised her hand. Maya nodded. Yes? Dr. Richardson, my teacher said you invented the technology that's in airplanes and spaceships. Is that true? It is. And somebody stole it from you? Yes, my ex-husband took credit for my work for 20 years. That's not fair. No, it wasn't. But you know what I learned? Fairness isn't given, it's taken. I spent 15 years waiting for someone to give me credit, give me respect, give me recognition. Nobody did. So I took it back. I reclaimed my work, my company, my truth. And now I'm building something nobody can ever take from me. Another hand went up. Older girl, maybe 16. Dr. Richardson, people online say you destroyed your ex-husband for revenge. Is that true? Maya smiled. That's a great question. Here's my answer. I didn't destroy Richard Hampton. Richard Hampton destroyed himself by building his life on lies. I just stopped protecting him from the consequences. Revenge is about hurting someone. Justice is about correcting what's wrong. I chose justice. But he lost everything. He lost everything he stole. There's a difference. You can't lose what was never really yours. Do you feel bad for him? Maya thought about that. Really thought. I feel bad for the man he could have been if he'd chosen honesty over ego. But I don't feel bad about what happened to him. He made choices. He earned consequences. That's not my responsibility to fix. The girl nodded, satisfied. A voice called from the back. Dr. Richardson, what about forgiveness? Don't you believe in second chances? Maya looked. The voice belonged to Vivian. She stood at the edge of the crowd, barely recognizable. No makeup, simple clothes. Her baby in a carrier on her chest. A tiny boy, maybe 3 months old. The crowd turned. Whispers started. Is that the woman from the articles? She has some nerve. Maya raised her hand. Silence fell. Let her speak. Vivienne stepped forward. I don't deserve to be here. I know that. But I'm here anyway because I owe you an apology. A real one. In front of everyone. You apologized 6 months ago in my office. That was private. This needs to be public. Because what I did to you was public. Vivian's voice shook but didn't break. 6 months ago, I stood in the Metropolitan Museum and mocked Dr. Richardson for not having children. Called her incomplete. Called her barren. I did it because I was cruel and stupid and thought destroying someone else would make me powerful. Tears ran down her face now. I was wrong. I was carrying another man's baby while married to her ex-husband. I was part of a conspiracy to steal her company. I was everything she said I was. A gold digger, a fraud, a terrible person. She looked at Maya. You could have destroyed me completely. Instead, you gave me a chance. Sent me to St. Margaret's shelter. They helped me have my baby safely, get job training, find an apartment, build a real life, not the fake life I had before, a real one. Why are you telling me this now? Maya asked. Because I want these girls to know the truth. I want them to know that I tried to tear you down and you responded by lifting me up anyway. Not because I deserved it. Because my baby deserved a mother who could be better.
You taught me that legacy isn't about what you're born with. It's about what you choose to build. Vivian looked at the crowd of girls. Don't be who I was. Don't tear other women down to lift yourself up. Don't think beauty or charm or manipulation is power. Real power is what Dr. Richardson has. Genius. Integrity. The ability to build something that actually matters. She turned back to Maya. Thank you for not destroying me when you could have, for giving my son a chance at a decent mother. Maya studied her. This girl who'd been so cruel, now humble, now honest, now maybe, finally, growing up. What's your son's name? Marcus. I named him after your attorney, because Mr. Chen was the first person who treated me like I could be better than I was. Maya looked at Marcus, who looked stunned. You did that without asking me? He whispered. You told me that everyone deserves a chance to be better than their worst moment, Vivian said. I'm trying to take that chance. Maya addressed the crowd. This is Vivian Laurent. 6 months ago, she was my enemy. Today, she's a woman trying to be better. That's the difference between revenge and growth. Revenge would have been destroying her. Growth is giving her the chance to destroy who she was and build someone new. She looked at Vivian. I accept your apology, not because I've forgotten what you did, but because I've moved past caring. You're not my story anymore, Vivian. You're your own. Make it a better one. Vivian nodded, crying, and stepped back into the crowd. At 11 a.m., Maya picked up the golden shovel. But before she could dig, another voice called out. Dr. Richardson, wait! A woman pushed through the crowd. Mid-30s, professional clothes, intense eyes. My name is Dr. Keisha Williams. I was fired from Hampton Aerospace 4 years ago for questioning Richard's leadership. I've been following your story, and I have something you need to see. She held out a folder. Maya took it, opened it, started reading. Her hands began to shake. What is it? Marcus asked. It's a patent application, filed by Richard Hampton 18 months ago, for a modification to my original composite material. He's claiming it as his own invention. But you fired him. He has no right. The application was filed while he was still CEO, before I took over. The patent office doesn't know about the change in leadership yet. If this gets approved, Richard could claim ownership of derivative technology, could sue us for using our own innovations. The crowd was silent, confused. Dr. Williams spoke. I found it doing research for a lawsuit I'm filing. Richard stole credit for my propulsion work, too. But this patent affects you directly. I thought you should know before it's too late. Maya looked at Marcus. Can we stop it? If we file an opposition today, right now. But Maya, the ceremony can wait. This is exactly why we're building this center. To teach these girls that you never stop fighting for what's yours. That you never assume the battle is over just because you won once. She turned to the crowd. Girls, you're about to see something important. You're about to see what it looks like when someone tries to steal from you, even after you've won. And you're about to see what it looks like to fight back. Dr. Williams, come with me. Marcus, Jennifer, let's go. We have a patent to kill. One of the younger girls called out. But Dr. Richardson, what about the groundbreaking? Maya smiled. Sweetheart, the real groundbreaking happens when women refuse to let men take what's theirs. This ceremony can wait an hour. Justice can't. Stay here. When I come back, you'll watch me break ground on a building that nobody can ever steal from us. She walked off the lot. Dr. Williams, Marcus, and her legal team following. At 11:47 a.m., they were in a conference room at Richardson Aerospace. 3 patent lawyers on speakerphone, with the USPTO.
We need to file an emergency opposition to patent application US 2024876543, Marcus said. On what grounds? On the grounds that the applicant, Richard Hampton, is not the inventor. He fraudulently claimed credit for work done by Dr. Maya Richardson, who is present and can provide testimony. Do you have evidence? Maya leaned forward. I have my original doctoral thesis showing the base technology. I have emails from Richard admitting he didn't understand the science. I have testimony from 12 engineers who worked on the modification Richard's trying to patent. And I have the fact that Richard Hampton was removed as CEO for systematic intellectual property fraud.
Silence on the line.
Ma'am, if what you're saying is true, this is a serious matter. It is true, and it's exactly why I'm building the Richardson Innovation Center, to teach young women that men will try to steal their genius at every turn, and that we have to be vigilant, constantly, forever. We'll need to schedule a hearing. Schedule it for next week. I'll be there with every piece of evidence you need. And when this is over, Richard Hampton will never be able to claim credit for anything I create ever again. At 12:30 p.m., they walked back to the lot. The girls were still there, waiting. Maya took the podium again. Sorry for the delay. Someone tried to steal from me. Again. We stopped them. Again. And that, girls, is the most important lesson I can teach you today. Winning once doesn't mean you won forever. Powerful men will keep trying to take what's yours. You have to keep fighting to keep it. A girl raised her hand. Did you win? Not yet, but I will. Because I have something they don't. I have the truth. I have the evidence. I have the law on my side. And I have the absolute certainty that what I created is mine. Nobody can take that from me unless I let them. And I'll never let them again. She picked up the golden shovel. This ground we're standing on was overlooked for decades. People said nothing could grow here. Nothing valuable. Nothing important. They were wrong. Just like people were wrong about me. She drove the shovel into earth. The Richardson Innovation Center will open in 18 months. It will serve 500 young women annually. It will provide full scholarships, mentorship, laboratory access, and direct pathways to careers in STEM. It will be funded by the Richardson Foundation, which has committed $500 million over 5 years. Another shovelful of earth. But more than that, this center will be a promise. A promise that genius doesn't have a gender, that innovation doesn't have a color, that brilliance doesn't require permission from men who think they own the world. She looked at the girls. You are my legacy. Not because I gave birth to you, because I'm creating opportunity for you. Every girl who graduates from this program, every patent you file, every company you start, every man who tries to take credit for your work and fails, because you learned here how to fight back. That's my legacy. The smallest girl in the front row, maybe 12 years old with thick glasses and a notebook, ran up. Dr. Richardson, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you wish you had kids? Like real kids? Maya knelt down, looked into those young eyes. Sweetheart, I have kids. I have hundreds of them. Every girl here, every woman I mentor, every scientist I hire, every mind I help unlock. Those are my children. And the beautiful thing is, they don't need me to give birth to them. They just need me to give them a chance. But don't you feel incomplete without a baby? No, honey. I feel complete because I built something bigger than one life. I built possibility for thousands of lives. That's not incomplete. That's infinite. The girl smiled, handed Maya a wilted daisy. I brought this for you. Maya took the flower. Her eyes filled with tears.
Thank you. What's your name? Jasmine. What do you want to be when you grow up, Jasmine? An aerospace engineer, like you. Then you will be. And Jasmine, when you are, when you're building rockets or satellites or whatever brilliant thing your mind creates, and some man tries to take credit for it, what are you going to do? Jasmine's voice rang out clear and strong. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to be like you. Maya pulled her into a hug. Behind them, cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled. The mayor wiped tears. General Morrison saluted. Marcus beamed. And Maya Richardson, the woman who was called defective, the woman who was called barren, the woman who was told she couldn't create anything worthwhile, stood surrounded by 200 young girls whose futures she'd just changed forever. At 2 p.m., as the crowd dispersed, Amanda Chen approached with her camera. Doctor Richardson, can I ask you one final question for the article I'm writing about today? Go ahead. 6 months ago, you destroyed Richard Hampton's empire and took back what was yours. Today, you're building something new. What would you say to women who are living in silence right now? Women carrying secrets to protect men who don't deserve it. Maya looked directly into the camera. Stop. Stop protecting men from consequences they earned. Stop making yourself smaller so they can feel bigger. Stop believing that your genius needs permission or validation from people who never valued it. Your work is yours. Your voice is yours. Your truth is yours. Take it back, all of it. And don't apologize for being brilliant. And what would you say to the Richard Hamptons of the world? The men who built empires on stolen genius? I'd say your time is up. We're not staying quiet anymore. We're not protecting you anymore. We're not letting you take credit anymore. Every woman you've silenced is finding her voice. Every mind you've exploited is reclaiming her work. And the empire you built on our backs? We're taking it back, brick by brick, patent by patent, truth by truth. Amanda lowered the camera. That's going to be one hell of an article. Good. Let it be a warning. At 6 p.m., Maya sat alone in her office at Richardson Tower. The new sign was being installed outside. She could hear the construction. Her phone buzzed. Text from Dr. Keisha Williams. USPTO just called. They're expediting our opposition hearing. We're going to win. Another text. General Morrison. Pentagon approved expanded contracts. $47 billion over 7 years. You're officially too big to fail. Another. Dr. Martinez from her research team. Boss, we did it. Heat resistance up 35%. Patent filed in your name, nobody else's. Maya smiled. 6 months ago, she'd stood in a museum covered in champagne and blood, listening to her ex-husband laugh at her pain. Today, she'd broken ground on a center that would change thousands of lives. Tomorrow, she'd defend her patents against the man who'd tried to steal them one last time. And the day after that, she'd keep building, keep creating, keep proving that the woman they called defective was the most complete person in the room. Her office door opened. Marcus and Dr. Sarah Morrison entered. We brought champagne, Marcus said. The real kind, to celebrate. Celebrate what? We've barely started. That's exactly what we're celebrating, Dr. Morrison said. 6 months ago, you were the wronged ex-wife. Today, you're the CEO of a $120 billion company, founder of a foundation that's changing lives, and the woman who proved that genius doesn't need a man's name attached to matter. They poured glasses, raised them. To Maya Richardson, Marcus said, who taught us all that being called defective by small men just means you're too big for them to comprehend.
to taking back what's yours, Dr. Morrison added, and building something nobody can ever steal. Maya raised her glass. To legacy. Real legacy. Not biology, not bloodlines, but brilliance, opportunity, and the absolute refusal to stay silent. They drank.
And as the sun set over Manhattan, as the Richardson Tower sign lit up for the first time, as 200 girls went home dreaming about becoming scientists, Maya Richardson understood something fundamental. She'd spent 15 years letting Richard Hampton define her worth, define her story. She'd spent 6 months taking it all back. And she'd spend the rest of her life proving that the woman called Barron had planted more seeds, built more futures, and created more legacy than any man who'd ever mocked her could dream of achieving. They said she was incomplete. They were wrong. She wasn't incomplete. She was infinite. And that made all the difference.